you can print the click from out of your DAW. Something that I actually like to do is just create it in here. So the way you would do that is I usually give out a Uray click. Let's import that audio. There it is. I give this to all of my team members. I just drop it in the Dropbox that we all share. And then the way I would create a click track outside of my DAW is simply do it like this. So here's the click. So the way I create it is you can, on PC, it's Control D, on Mac, it's Command D. You can just mark this in the grid and then just click duplicate and create your click track like that. Just watch out for tempo changes like here. Also, it's a 5/8, so, be sure that you don't mess this up. Then there's a 3/4 in this tempo. There's a 4/4 in that tempo. So with every tempo change, just make sure you do this again. So once you have done this, you want to consolidate this file, which is, there we go. It's Shift-Alt-3. Just a disclaimer, Pro Tools shortcuts are absolutely awful. It's always 3 or 4 or more keys. Sometimes I don't have enough fingers to actually do them. But the good thing is they're always the same. So whatever studio you go to, they will always be the same. So here you have the click. Very often you will also deliver an 1/8 note click, just so they can jump back and forth more easily. But usually your Pro Tools operator will also be able to just quickly create an 1/8 note click. What you want to do now is rename the file just so it matches. In this case, you would use the naming convention of this and be sure to name clip and disk file as well. So in this case, it would be mega 2M18 underscore version 1.0 underscore the time code. I mean, the time code is printed in the file automatically when you consolidate the file, but still better be safe. And then I'll just name it like that so it doesn't conflict with this one. There you go. Then you'd color it and then done. There's your click track. So there's that. That's how you could create a click track in Pro Tools. You don't have to. You can still do it in your DAW. For me, it's just important that we all use the same click sound. So that's why I send that to my team. So now we're at the point where we can basically send this off. Everything's lined up. The last thing you would do in this case is proofreading. I have a second monitor, so it tends to open on that one. So this is the cue that I got from my orchestrator. And what you would normally do is I'd normally have it on my second monitor and then just hit play here and just read through it and make sure all the bars and beats align, that all the tempo changes align. Bar 7 here says it has a tempo change, so let's make sure, that that's accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. See, there's the tempo change. Bar 8 has a tempo change. So I would just make sure that all of this 100% aligns, and listen to it just to be sure that, it's like one last pass of proofreading, because this is going to be how they communicate. This is what they will have in the scoring room to play from. This is what they will have in the booth. So this is just really important that these really align and are the same. Otherwise, you can never, ever communicate with anything, because I know the music, but they don't. So they see all of this for the first time. So when they say, that tempo change in bar 8, they all need to be talking about this. And then the last thing, once all of this is checked, you also want to make sure the stereo reference aligns with the stems. There's a shortcut that I forgot right now, but you can go back and forth between the stereo ref and the stems just to check that everything is there. Because sometimes, like 1 out of 1,000, the stems are misprinted for some reason, or there's like a mistake in there. So just make sure the stems also check out with the stereo ref, and all the instruments are where they need to be. And then you can basically send this off once you've checked it. So the last thing I do, I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I go to the I/O setup. I was taught this at Steve Jablonski's studio, and they told me that engineers love it when you clear the I/O setup. So with Control A, or I think on Apple it's Command A, you can select all of these settings and just clear them out. There you go. And with control and then the cursors, or I think on Mac it might be different, plus cursors, you can also quickly zoom between these. Like knowing your key commands is crucial, which I'm not demonstrating very well right now because I only do this at the end of each project. So now they're all cleaned up. Okay, you will see all of these get disabled. They become gray because now there's no IO path anymore. They don't know where to go. The reason for that is when they open this on their end, they will not get all kinds of messages about, your IO setup doesn't match the session. No. Because the way they will grab all of this information is they will go import, and then they will go import session data. So let's assume I would want to import session data from this random session. Then you can open this dialog. And so this is what they're going to do. They're going to see all of these tracks and it's a different session, so don't pay too much attention. And they can import the tempo map and whatever else, markers. This is a really, really nice feature that Pro Tools has that some other DAWs don't have. Like Cubase does not do this very well. But so they will have their recording template with their routing and already, everything set up the way they need it. And then they can just import all the session data into their template. And so this is why they like this. So these are really two of the things that really make Pro Tools superior. The way it handles time code and all this, and the way you can import session data. And this is the magic of basically session prep, scoring stage session prep, basically. This is technically also the mix prep in one go. Like I said, I'm skipping that one bit. If you have an assistant, you can do that, but I don't have a full-time assistant right now, so I don't like to do all these extra steps. So then you save, you close the session, and then you would take the session that you created and just zip it up over here. It's send to compressed zip folder. In Mac, you also right click and there's, I forget what it is, but you create zip files the same way. And then usually the scoring stage, if it's a bigger scoring stage, they will have some kind of server that they want you to upload to. So you would grab this file and then just upload it to their server. It's very often an Aspera server. They will give you some kind of login data, and then you can just throw it up there, and that's it.